Because you mentioned Flair, we'll just go to last match, Ric Flair, and then we'll get to a load of subscribers' questions and everything, but you must have seen at least clips, if not the full match, Ric Flair's last match.
Yeah. First of all, the whole build-up to this thing. Anybody that knows me is going to think that I'm sort of feeding stuff into my feelings with Rick, and it's not. I still really respect Rick's work, right, and his body of work. He's Ric Flair. Like, nobody is ever going to chisel him off that Mount Rushmore, right? I mean, good luck trying. To me, the overriding question was from the start, from the first time I heard this, why? First of all, being the measuring stick of the business. Terry Bradshaw is a great quarterback. I don't want to see him quarterback the Steelers next week. I'm sure he'll probably get a couple good passes off or whatever, but he ain't going to be the same Terry Bradshaw I remember. And let's face it, with Rick being such an amazing in-ring performer and being his age and being unwell, if you have a pacemaker put in, that's serious. I mean, that's not a today. By the way, I got a fingernail here. And, the things that we had learned about, the medically induced coma. I was talking to a friend, again, my medical school training. If you're put into a medically induced coma and come out of that, you should go play the Powerball, because you're very, very fortunate. That being put in that kind of a coma is extraordinarily dangerous, meaning you're in a very perilous state. And to see him come out now and go to the ring, and I mean, let's face it, it fell far short of expectations, I would think, of what we expected from Rick. I thought for sure he was going to try to get the upside down bump in. Like, if nothing else, he'll get the up over the turnbuckle and really pop the crowd. And that would be amazing to watch. The few clips that I'd seen of it and the stuff that I'd read about it after, there's an old saying here in America about attorneys being rubberneckers, right? There's an accident on the side of the road, they see money. You can't drive by an accident and not look. It's just human nature. And I think that was a large part of watching that, right? That is something bad going to happen in the ring to this guy? I think, from my 2 cents, again, why? I mean, you're going to pale in comparison to what you were before. You are the elder statesman of wrestling. There's nothing you can do in that ring that's going to alter any of that written, chiseled in stone history, other than to leave a really sour taste in people's mouths afterwards. I've always said about Rick, my personal opinion is he has forgotten who Richard Flair is. He, in his head, he is the nature boy 24 hours a day. And I think it becomes dangerous, when, I'm very cognizant of the fact that Troy Martin and the franchise are two very different people. And when I have long weekends out and you're in character for longer, when I go home, I find myself just mentally drained, right? Because you're evoking this character for more time than you really want to. I think in his head, whether subliminally or overtly, has a desire to, what's the only way that the nature boy Ric Flair can go out? It's got to be in the ring, right? I mean, what more poetic ending for the nature boy in his head? And if that were the case, the only thing that tells me against that, and I'm going to try to ascribe to Rick some humanity, having his kids and grandkids sitting at ringside, God forbid something like that happen. I would never want my children to see that. It just seems strange to me. And then, like, hearing these afterwards, his claim that he blacked out twice during the match, pacemaker, this is like extremely dangerous stuff. And, I wonder, from the people that backed it, like Conrad, is there liability there? Like, if something bad would have happened, would there be liability there? Whatever doctor approved him or he says approved him, it just seemed a very foolhardy thing to me. Going to fall far short of what I remember of the Nature Boy and what I want to remember of him as a character. I just think it was a really dumb move. There were a lot of people that were approached about being in that match. Again, no names needed. And most of them bailed out when they learned things, about the pacemaker and things like that. And I think wisely so. You know, somebody had asked me about the plus. My differences with him, something happens to him in the ring, like, my God, talk about an albatross, right? It was, I think it was just a really foolish thing for him to do. And hopefully he's gotten that out of the system. I want him to be the elder statesman. I would expect Ric Flair, the Ric Flair character today, to be pointing out all that is wrong with our business. What is different from when you were wrestling? What would you tell these kids if you were in the dressing room with them? Because my God, he's a fountain of information on that, right?
Absolutely. We will get off. You know, I've got so many Ric Flair questions. They're too easy. You know what I mean? I think one for one podcast is enough.
The low hanging fruit.
Yeah, the lowest of hanging fruit. I mean, it's scraping the floor.